All right, we'll call the meeting to order. And first of all, review and approve June 13th, 2023 minutes. Okay.
So, there's one. Edit here.
Okay. Okay.
But, you run here twice.
Yep.
Important guy. Yeah. Okay, I move that they be accepted as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
He's got a spelling error
Oh.
That's an easy fix.
Somehow I lost my pen. I had it right here. No, it's still right there.
Still got it?
Something like that.
And next thing, review and approve June 27th, 2023 warrant.
I move that they be accepted.
Second.
All in favor? All right, next thing, general systems update. We talked with, Katie Wilcox.
I did, I talked to Katie, I think I shared an email with you, but
Yep.
she's, not gonna be available for us.
Okay.
I talked via Gmail Meet or whatever it is with Jim Gailey at the county and several of the other town representatives. And he's going out on the street to hire somebody. It will probably be maybe 2 or 3 weeks or longer into the past June 30th. Which is Katie's last day this week. So
Friday.
Oh, yeah.
we need somebody. And you had mentioned that your uncle or
Cousin, yeah.
cousin, Jordan,
Yep, Barry.
Barry Jordan, if he will step in and do it, I would think that would be a good interim.
Okay.
He's qualified, he's done it.
You wanna bring him in and sit down and talk with him? or-
Yeah, we can bring him and talk to him, it's,
I'll give him a call with him on,
yeah.
when's good for you guys?
I'm not really, your schedules, I think.
Gotta be this week, right?
Yeah.
Nothing? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yep.
Okay. 2 o'clock, maybe?
Mhm.
I'll check with him and see what.
He
that better for you? Okay.
I mean, I say with the 2 o'clock if that's necessary.
If it doesn't work out, there's somebody I had email contact with when this thing first started, that said he might step in, but I don't know where he is actually. I think he's
Okay.
across the other side of the state somewhere.
Bob, was that the gentleman that offered to help remotely?
Yeah. But honestly, what they said is that, most of these other towns said, Katie didn't come in. She did it remotely. You know, she served the whole of Cumberland County's customers, which were 7 or 8, I guess.
Yeah.
And for many of them, she didn't come in.
Yeah, during COVID, she didn't come in here at all, so.
Yeah, well, I guess that was their model.
Yeah,
I don't know, I think it's good for her to come in, but.
I do too, yeah. Spend more time in here, you know, meet with people.
I think it helps to look at somebody when you interview them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. All right. Update for 87 Pequawket Trail. We had an incident the other day. And Ricky's cleaning up mess over there. You wanna fill him in again?
Yeah, I can give you the animal control side of things, and then I think Don and Bob talked with the owner of the property now, but, animal control side of things, Thursday, we had the debacle with the, county deputy got bit by the dogs. Those 2 dogs have since been euthanized, which was the bill that was in the warrant. The town unfortunately ate that bill.
$500 bill.
Yeah, we should send it to the county and say, you should have done a better job, but, train you guys how to shoot. So, there was a whole, show with that, the dog, the dog that actually did the bite was not vaccinated. So, state protocol is that we have the dog decapitated and delivered to Augusta. Soxby Vet wasn't able to do that, so the dog had to be brought to Freiburg Vet and be decapitated, so there will be another bill coming in for the decapitation. And then I transported the dog up to Augusta, and it tested negative, but thank God, right? The county cop doesn't have rabies. Saturday morning, I received a page from Cumberland County Dispatch. The resident at that property wanted to surrender the remaining animals on the property to me, because he had been his eviction was for 48 hours and he didn't have time to remove everything. So, I agreed to that surrender. I had him send me a message saying that I, so-and-so, surrendered the animals to the animal control officer. Saturday, we removed some animals, and then Sunday, we removed a few more animals, and then yesterday, we spent most of the day over there removing animals. In total, once the goat and the guinea hen and the few remaining cats have been caught, there'll be 124 animals that we removed. Yeah. So, the remaining dog, the resident took with him, and a couple of cats he took with him, so. All the animals that we had surrendered to the town have been placed in homes, and it didn't cost the town anything for housing of those animals. The state covered the fee for, because we held them in place over the weekend, the animals that we couldn't catch. So the state supplied us with some grain and stuff just to maintain the animals for the weekend. I used my my water tub that I use for my cattle to bring fresh water over and stuff. So we just maintained them over the weekend.
Right there on the property?
Yeah, right on the property, yeah. It was because I wasn't able to get people together fast enough to go remove everything. So, animal control wise, that's about it. We've got, he signed the surrender, an actual surrender form this morning, so those animals are all free and clear of him.
That'd be good, there's no more getting in the road and.
No more getting in the road, no more having to worry about car accidents there and stuff like that.
Did they have a pig that ended up on Center of the Black?
Yeah, the pig ended up on Tender Black, ended up getting shot in the person's driveway. Yeah, it was and then left for 3 days. Yeah, so, yeah, that was fun. The animal control officer was a jerk, cause he went on a moose hunt instead of chasing pigs, so.
Priorities, I
Yeah,
guess,
right, so, that's the update on that from my end. Bob and Don talked with the owner yesterday a little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they have any updates.
The only thing I have is, you know, we chatted with Courtney Alexander for a bit, about what he might wanna do with the property, but his lawyer called me, her name is Rita Ferry, called me today, just an hour or so ago, actually, and said that they have to post the property for 2 weeks, notifying the previous occupant to come get their stuff. And then they also send a letter to him saying, come get your stuff, and they have to wait till the letter comes back, either rejected or, you know, not returned, whatever. So he said it'd probably be a month or so before they actually start cleaning up. They have permission to dispose of things there.
Anything else to add to that, Don?
No, except that it's nice that at least all the animals won't be running loose.
Right, yeah.
And I wish more people could have seen Rick chasing all those.
I wish I had a video.
If I would have shown them flying through the air,
Leaping over logs.
we could have made some serious money.
It was good.
Other than that, you did a first class job, I have to say, you really did.
Well, it's good that that's getting cleaned up.
Lucky to have good people in the job.
Yeah. It's too bad the outcome of the dogs is the way it is.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, when your dogs are trained guard dogs, that's what their fate looks like.
Right.
There was talk today with the resident, the owner, about he wants to surrender the other dog, and I was very honest with him and told him that when you surrender that dog, it's going to be euthanized. That's the only option for that dog.
Because of the temperament of
He
it.
can't be safely placed anywhere.
Right.
So,
Well, just with.
but he's in Westbrook, so it's not my problem, so.
But, well, the dog has a known bite, was it about a month ago?
About a month and a half, actually.
Oh, so you know.
The remaining dog does have a bite. He bit a young lady's hand pretty well. He had broken off his leash, and she was trying to get him back in the yard, and he bit her. So
Yeah.
he lunged at me. He's tried to rip my leg off a few times. So yeah.
The black one?
White one.
The white one, that one, surprised that wasn't the first one I go.
Yeah.
The one
Me
aggressive,
too. Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
The black one was alright.
The black one is the one that did the biting,
Huh. That was always.
which surprised me because she's the puppy.
Yeah, it was the most
Yeah.
easygoing one.
Yep. So.
Too bad.
And the smell standing in the doorway of that house was enough to make you very ill.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone could ever live there.
For the.
He was afraid squatters might move in and some other people, and I suppose that's possible.
I would feel
You've seen
that.
other places in town that aren't that clean. But unbelievable.
Chickens are living in the house.
The bed that the residents were sleeping on had piles of chicken feces on it.
That's really sad, because that's one of the Harding houses. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just can't help it. It was a really neat house. All those houses on there, the architecture was really interesting, and it just, I really feel hurt to think that the town of Baldwin bought that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in bad shape.
I know.
Sills are rotted out.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Pretty far
I'm
gone.
still sad for it.
I agree with you, the history when it goes is gone forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
get to a certain point, and there's not much you can do,
No.
unfortunately.
Right. Alrighty then. Next one is Sam Pond Road dogs.
So, Sand Pond Road, first and foremost, anything in regards to the pit bulls we can't discuss because it's a federal case and I'm not allowed to talk about it. Just know that it's an active case and the feds are working on it. In regards to the 7 French bulldogs that, the feds encouraged me to seize, the district attorney's office felt that the owners had a strong case showing that they were responsible pet owners and did provide vet care for the animals. So at court on the 21st, the district attorney took it upon himself to dismiss the case and is not going to follow through with the criminal animal cruelty summonses or in November, any of that. With that, I requested, because when we seize an animal, the town foots the bill at the beginning, and when you go to court, you're supposed to be able to argue for the owner to have to pay that bill before they can have the animal back, or if the animal surrendered, get that bill paid with the fines. I asked the district attorney the assistant district attorney to request that they pay that bill, and in no short term, he told me to pound sand. So the bill, grand total was $2,800 and some change. The state is going to cover half of that bill, and the town is responsible for the other half of that bill. Unfortunately. We haven't received the bill yet from ARL, so hopefully we can, maybe make a deal with them between now and then, but I keep working on it. And on that topic, why the dogs are brought to Animal Refuge League, instead of Harvest Hills, is because Harvest Hills couldn't take in that many dogs at once. And we needed all the dogs to go to the same location, and Harvest Hills wasn't able to provide veterinary care that day. We needed a vet to examine them the day they were brought in. So that's why they were brought to Animal Refuge League instead of Harvest Hills. Because Harvest Hills is our contract shelter, so typically we would go there.
Right, yeah.
But instead we went to ARL because, circumstances.
Yeah.
That's what we had to do. Unfortunately, it's part of the animal control world, it's part of the job, and the town has to eat the bill.
Yeah.
It sucks. I try all the time whenever I get cruelty cases, stuff like that, to get the state involved so that we have the state's funding, and maybe they'll take the case, but this was just one of those cases that they didn't have enough agents. Same with the Pequawket Trail case. They didn't have enough agents to come down and deal with it. They were out on their own search warrants that day and the other day.
And
So-
your evidence was tied up with the feds.
Yes, and part of the reason why my case about the Frenchies was so lacking was because when you go on a federal search warrant, they don't let state guys or town employees take their own evidence. So I wasn't allowed to take my own
It
pictures.
belongs to the feds now.
Everything belongs to them. You're not allowed to take your own pictures. You're here to transport these dogs to the shelter, and that's it. And make a case off of what you got. I requested multiple times with the USDA and the Fed and the U.S. Marshal's Office for evidence, and they just said, oh, it's going to take months before the prosecutor will release anything. I was like, well, I don't have months. I've got to have my court hearing within 30 days. Because when you take someone's animal, they have 30 days. If you don't give them a court hearing in 30 days, then you automatically have to give the animals back.
Okay.
So that's my update on that. As far as the other thing, Joe, you had called the other night, I was in the middle of dealing with the Cumberland County debacle, that's why I said, listen, it's a Fed case, just tell them it's a Fed case, that's all we're gonna tell them for right now.
Yeah.
So those 7 French Bulldogs were returned
Yep.
to the property. At this point, Jermaine and Elizabeth are breaking the town ordinance of 5 animals, 5 dogs, because they have 7. So I don't know what everybody wants to do about that.
So it's out of your hands now,
Yeah, it's an ordinance, it's an ordinance.
At least partially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm willing to help you, Don, I think me being the lead on it is gonna cause them to say, well, he's targeting us, and so, I think that we should have code go after it first, and then, and as far as their conditional use permit, remember, there is still a federal dog fighting case going on, so take that into consideration.
I guess my position would be that if they did apply for a conditional use permit, it would be a new application, it would not be a revised old one. This is a new application, and I would wanna know if there was anything illegal going on, or had gone on having to do with dogs, and
Because of the background of it, and
because of the background of it, I mean, can you give somebody a kennel license?
with stuff like that going on, yeah.
I don't know, I mean,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing where we've got them with the notification that they're in violation, I think they now can't go before the planning board for 2.5 years.
You've given them a.
It's in the process of being done.
So they can come before us. In fact, they should, because they need the kennel license.
Right.
Then we say, look, you've been notified you're in violation, we must vote it down.
That's what my point is.
Yeah.
That might be the way that has to go.
And so they have to get rid of the 7 dogs.
Right.
That would make perfect sense to me. That'd be a perfect way from my point of view.
Would it be 7, or could they go down to 4 with the
They
order?
go down to 4, they don't need a kennel license.
5, is it 5?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
4 of them, it's like-
However, with the,
When-
depending on what animals they chose to keep, if they keep their 5 breeding females and, get rid of the 2 males that they have, they would still need a, breeding kennel license from the state.
So that's from the state, not from.
It would be from the state, but a breeding kennel license is a business.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
guys would
okay.
still have to be involved with a
Okay.
conditional use permit, so, yeah.
Okay.
So,
At least they wouldn't be in violation of our ordinance.
but, yeah, I mean, they would be back down to 5 dogs. so,
Right.
Yeah.
The ordinance, would, if they're breeding them, then they do come under our ordinance as well. It's just-
Okay.
Right, yes,
So
yes.
it's kind of a convoluted map.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
I think a lot's gonna depend on how the thing goes for the government. They're kind of probably in charge of that.
Yeah.
How many litters can they have? One per dog or one per household?
It's not based off of litters, it's based off the number of puppies, so, 16, in 1 year.
Okay,
So they can have up to 16 puppies in 1 year without a license.
got it.
After that, they would have to have a breeder's kennel license, and once you get your breeder's license, you can have as many as you want. However, because they have 5 breeding age females, right now they qualify for a breeding kennel license. So they have to have a breeding kennel license.
Look at the price for that.
Oh, I know, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Well, she said in court.
Well, and I believe they can afford it, because they're selling these puppies for $6,000 each. So, yeah, so, that's on her testimony right in court, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you get the calves.
Yeah, it is, yeah, I don't even get to, yeah.
Let's call it a puppy farm, right?
Yeah.
So that's all I have on all that.
It's a lot.
It's been a hell of a month so far.
Thank you, might have to renegotiate your pay with
Yeah.
with Rob. I mean, you spend a lot of time up here, and
We have been up here quite a bit. We've had a lot of big cases up here
Yeah.
lately. So,
Still working on River Road with all the cats.
yeah, if you want me to right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're here, so we're taking
Yeah,
advantage.
oh, okay, yeah, take advantage of me right now. Yeah, so we're, 100 River Road, we're still working on that property to dwindle down the cats. It's a slow process. These other cases interfered with me going over there and hauling stuff up to the shelter. At this point, the, owner has started to deliver the cats up to the shelter himself, so hopefully he'll continue to do that for us. But he's not doing it at a large enough rate. Yeah, exactly, yeah, they do breed fast.
They've been sick and they have a genetic defect.
Yeah, a lot of the cats, on that property are sick. So the ones that he's not getting up to the shelter to get fixed are dying off. Like Robin said, due to overbreeding and interbreeding, some of the cats have been born with a genetic defect, which their heart has grown around their esophagus. So they're not able to, they can grow up to probably about, 4 or 5 months old, because they're trying to nurse off the mother and stuff, but they can't eat solid food. So, yeah, so, we found that by doing, spay neuter on them. We put them under anesthesia and they passed away under the anesthesia. So we weren't sure why. We're like, why are these cats dying? So we did necropsies and that's what they found on multiple cats, so. Yeah.
And how many have you taken so far?
We're upwards right now of 70. Oh, jeez.
And there's still,
70, and there's still 35, 40 cats there. Yeah, so, and when I was there today dropping off kennels, there was fresh kittens, so it's just building.
yeah.
Now that these other cases have been dealt with, I'm gonna try and talk with Harvest Hills about getting a crew together and going over and doing another large grab, see how many we can get. Unfortunately, with animal hoarders, it's a mental health issue. So it takes time to talk to these people and say, listen,
Convince them to give them.
this is the best thing to do, this is the best thing to do. Otherwise, I can apply with the state and get a warrant or an ex parte order to take them, but then we're footing the bill to house them until after the court hearing. And we're gonna end up with another $2,800 bill, right?
Yeah.
So, right now, the owner is working with us and willing to surrender, so that's why we're doing it at a slow pace.
Yeah.
well, they're being strategic about rounding up the ones that are, breeding.
Yeah,
Right.
so the first time we went, we took all the kittens and all the mothers that were nursing. That was like, we hauled out 32 that day, something like that. And then the next time we went, we took a large load of male cats. And then we went back and we took a mixture, and we actually made an agreement with AWS down in Kennebunk to take some cats. And they ended up taking, I don't know, 20 cats for us, just because Harvest Hills was so full.
Yeah.
We had no room. And so that was I think we brought them all females. Yeah, so another large load of females. So,
small, quiet, peaceful town, not the
Right.
And then you throw other dog bites and stuff in there, and it's,
Yeah, and it
You
just
turn on the news and there they are down the Baldwin, police shooting
right.
dogs.
Yeah.
That's what I heard of the Pequawket Trails, oh my God.
Yeah.
When they said their names, they showed the picture, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So that's really the update on River Road. We do have a dangerous dog case in town right now, at 271 Bridgeton Road. A gentleman stopped there because the homeowner is advertising, mechanical work. So a guy stopped there to talk to him about working on his car. The dog came out, the guy never even got out of his car, he had his hand hanging out the window, and the dog bit the end of his pinky off. So I charged the owner with being the keeper of a dangerous dog. He's right now complying with the quarantine order and the, dangerous dog order. And we have court on July 18th for that.
Yes, that's the same one. I was asking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you to go with me.
I noticed the beware dog sign, it was just.
Yeah, and at the time of the bite, there was no beware of dog sign.
Right.
This specific dog, and believe me, I've already argued with Harvest Hills about it. In 2017, when I was the animal control officer here, ACO Hoskins and I removed this dog from that property for being a dangerous dog. Brought it to Harvest Hills, the owner surrendered it to Harvest Hills. At Harvest Hills, the dog was good because he had a regimen, right? He was, this is what time I get let out, this is what time I get fed, this is what time I go out to play, right? So, he had been adopted out a couple of times and returned, and then he sat at the shelter for about a year, and then the current owner, who was also the previous owner, turned around and contacted Harvest Hills and said, I'd love to adopt my dog back, and because they had no adoptions for him, they allowed it. So that's how he ended up, back there. Now, that was in 2019, so for the last 3 years, we haven't had any issues with the dog that have been reported. So, that's that. And then, the only other case I have going right now is, some Highlanders up on, Shiloh Place that, belong in Sebago. And, the guy was basically just leaving them up at the farm up there, and the woman wanted him out. So I called him, told him, this was on Saturday, I told him, you have 1 week from today to get your animals out of there, and if not, we're gonna charge you with, animal trespass, 3 accounts. Today, the road crew was up there and sent me a picture. One of the Highlanders was walking down Shiloh, and the other 2 Highlanders have been returned to the property in Sebago. So they're working on it. Hopefully it all works out, so we don't end up with a Highland cattle. If we do, we're having a barbecue. So all right, everybody. Yeah, so.
They're nice cows, though.
They are.
They're good, they're with our field, too.
Yeah, so, yeah, and the backstory is these guys broke out 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And they've been on the land for 4 months.
I think they're making their rounds to different pastures.
Yeah.
See what grass is greener, you know?
It's always greener on the other side.
It visited our field, one of our fields.
So, that's it. And fingers crossed, nothing else happens. I would like a vacation at some point.
Look at reserve water.
Yeah.
Free range beef?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So.
It would be tough with it, all that walking around, no?
Hang it for a couple of days and soften it up.
We could dig a big pit and.
I'm all about it.
Okay, is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay. Next thing is resident complaint, lack of police presence and road work. The road work is cutting the bamboo off the end of the driveway, happened
It hasn't, because we had a rainstorm, so we've been fixing roads.
Been fixing roads, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but when I had called him, which I replied to the email, I called him and I'm like, I hear you've been trying to get a hold of us. And, I've been calling the wrong number. So he wasn't trying that hard to get a hold of us.
Okay.
But I had a 20-minute conversation with him, and it was interesting to say the least.
Who was it?
But that was, and I went up and looked at it, and the bamboo was growing out on the shoulder of the road, just like half the other roads in town. And
Yeah, I was actually up there looking at a job a couple days ago, right, a couple houses before, and I go, okay, well, I'll just see,
Right.
because I remembered.
Yeah.
And it's nothing more than anybody else dealing with when they're pulling out their driveway. You know,
So, I plan to get up there this week and cut it. And,
You cut it, just grow it back.
kind of just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little thicker.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be there every year, yeah.
Yeah.
he could do what everybody else does in town and cut it himself, but.
Right.
I see a lot of people doing that. That stuff's nasty.
He feels that his tax money should be,
That's fine, we'll take care of it. It's roadside, we'll take care of it.
that's what the, lack of police presence. I mean, we looked at that before, and then we've discussed it, maybe possibly going down that road again, because of the increase in crime, but we have met with Sheriff Royce, and the reason why they are not over here as much, because we're not a high crime community.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, you got over across the lake, Raymond and Harrison, and every time you need a deputy, that's where they come from.
I don't know, they seem to show up quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I think-
Cumberland County seems to be right there whenever.
Sometimes they pull them out on standards too.
Sometimes, yeah.
If the rescue has to come up here, it's usually and if it's really something really bad, they usually fly down from Harrison or Raymond like that.
If I need assistance, Standish will come over.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, Cumberland County's been here quite a bit.
Yeah, they've been-
So I don't know about lack of police presence.
I've seen all that.
Yeah.
We do have
Turn your TV on.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
And we did have a deputy patrolling at night. I don't know if he's still around or not, but his name is Sergeant Feeney. He was around, because after we met with, the sheriff, he kind of boosted up the presence a little bit more, and he's trying, but short staff, budget cuts and all that other stuff is.
Earlier today, Robin and I were, talking about it. State police are also more prevalent in the area. They made an agreement with Oxford and York County, and to the best of my knowledge, there was an agreement with, Cumberland County in regards to Baldwin, that they would, be here, cause they were trying to put all their troopers in one area, all the county guys in one area, so they're all trained the same way.
Yeah.
They're all gonna react the same way,
They're all within 10 minutes.
and they're all within 10 minutes of each other, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's why, Cornish and Parsfield, Leamington, all, Hiram, Porter, that's why all those towns have SP right now, because state police wanted Northern York, Southern Oxford, and then they had mentioned that they made an agreement with, Cumberland County about Baldwin, taking over Baldwin, or at least half of Baldwin, and giving them, like, Gloucester or something like that, one of those towns.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what town they were trading, but, so state police are here as well.
Okay.
On
good.
Thursday, during that incident, we had 3 troopers there.
Yeah,
as well.
I knew that,
So-
the state police that was there.
Yeah.
There's one in town that comes on a regular basis down to the town garage to run his dog.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So they're around.
Oh, yeah, and I know we had one of the car accidents, 2 of them. I was in class, but we had, 3 state troopers that Cumberland County show up.
Yep.
For a little under my.
Working a little bit more with state police than
Within
usual.
minutes probably, too.
Yeah,
right?
before I got there, I came from Sebago.
That's good.
And it was right in front of the mill.
Yeah,
definitely seeing more state police on incidents than we were previously.
Yeah, should,
A lot of them come from Cornish.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel if more people raise a concern, and then maybe look into it, but,
Right, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we've also got a state police detective living on Ward's Hill Road. He's still there.
And then Cumberland County, one living on Decker Road.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, Nate, yeah.
He's responded to quite a few calls in town.
Has he really? That's good.
I think they almost assigned him to this area now, didn't they? Or no?
Well, he's a detective, so I don't know where he's
Oh,
at.
Yeah.
And they work in a different capacity.
Yeah. But he still responds to calls.
Well, that's good then. I'll give that up. All right, let's go issues in the community center. Yeah, trip breaker the other day, and they kept breaking, and they told them to plug the microwave and something else.
Well, they came down to see me because they were using a microwave in the freezer room and the toaster oven in the kitchen. And it tripped breaker, so they lost power, light. And then, later came back and said that they didn't have any hot water. So it was kind of a combination of different things. I was able to get a hold of the electrician, and he came over, later in the afternoon, off the job he was working on in Parsonsfield, and, checked things out, and, looked at the breakers. He thought everything was fine, but recommended that, the microwave be used in the kitchen, and noted that, you know, the kitchen is wired well for, as a commercial kitchen.
Yep.
However, the outlets that are close together, are on the same circuit. So if it's greater than 20 amps, it is gonna trip a breaker even in the kitchen.
Right.
So he recommended spacing the appliances out a little bit, perhaps. When he has the free moment, he's gonna come over and label so that it would be, clearer, I guess, to whoever's using the kitchen.
Yeah.
plug microwave in here.
Well, just the circuits, like,
Yeah, no,
you know,
I get it,
match,
yeah.
match the circuits up so that you know
Which
if
way
you're
it
on the
goes.
same circuit or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
Microwave, yeah.
and come to find out, the hot water situation was not at all related. During the night, I had kind of an epiphany. On June 2nd, I called Dodge Oil to order, because I keep track, I check the percentages and then call. We're on a will call basis because of usage. We don't qualify for automatic delivery. So on June 2nd, I called to place a delivery. The smaller tank was at 30%. The larger tank that we use for the commercial stove only was at 80%. So I was informed that, real early that morning, like at 7 or so, they had done an automatic delivery, which I thought was rather curious, but, so I said, are you sure? And they assured me that they had, and then Debbie said, I've got the invoice already. So, I thought during the night, I thought, well, I bet what happened was that they topped off the wrong tank. And we ran, so sure enough, when I came in this morning, it was on Big Fat Zero, the smaller one, and the large tank was 100%.
Yeah.
So I called them and they sent a technician because they just wanted to make sure that there weren't any leaks or any problems. It ended up being the driver, basically the delivery driver, and he went over everything and tested the meters. We went down in the basement, and he's pretty much spent the morning here, and checked everything down there and relit the pilot, and so it's all good. Everything's all set, and he just, he said it's actually not a bad thing that we're on a will call, because these things do happen from time to time, but, so they're up and running, everything's
Yeah,
good.
doesn't seem like that big of a snafu, so,
Nope.
you know.
And, the good thing is that they're right here in town now, not from a gas delivery perspective, but from a service, perspective. So if we have a problem, he said, just go knock on their door right across from the Whistle Stop, and they'll come down and help us,
Oh, yeah, okay.
so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright. Next then, future tenant applications. Applicant.
So I emailed you that, gentleman, and he had applied for the mowing position, but had, was it a cast or something? He wasn't able to, so he had his medical clearance, and, if they're interested in the beach, attendant position, assistant there.
Have you actually interviewed the guy, looked at him?
I talked to him a few times, if it's who I'm thinking it is, which it should be. Seemed like he's a nice guy, he actually has a Class A license, I think it is, and I was just like, oh no, if I thought you could, he was, when I hired the other guy for the mowing job, he was still in the cast and hadn't got his medical clearance, and I'm like, I wasn't sure on what the doctor was gonna say, as he said, he's like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So as far as standing out for weed whacking all day, I was a little nervous,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't, but when I talked to him, he seemed very level-headed, very nice, very easygoing, older gentleman, and if I remember right, I think he actually friended me on Facebook, and I think he's actually a firefighter too, or retired.
He had some prior experience with parking as a parking attendant or something or other,
So, and I was like, well, I know I'm not hiring you for this job, but you can call and see if they're still looking for a beach attendant.
Mhm.
So I threw me away.
Good. I'll call him in and interview him.
Sure.
Okay.
I agree. Name sounds familiar for some reason. How old did you say it was?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to find a date.
I think his birthday's on the front page. Maybe it's on my.
For some reason, that name sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
1948.
All right, there you go.
I'm not that old.
I don't think it's Dale.
Maybe I know a kid.
I said older gentleman.
Maybe I know a kid.
Young kid, right?
That's not bad. 75, yeah. Still baby.
Yeah, I'll give him a call. Like I said, anytime's good for me. I'm on vacation next week, so anytime next week is good for me. Again, Dale, I'll be like, in the afternoon.
Me too, I'll be in here.
Yeah, I mean, I can make 2 to 3 work, 3's obviously.
Let's see, you'll read the,
3 o'clock or later.
It'd be ideal, you know, I don't wanna,
Any day except for the next Friday is not good for me.
Okey-doke. And then, what's not on the agenda, because it came in just after, I printed everything with the amended letter that, Steve presented you all.
good to me.
Great, yeah, I just did the revisions that was there.
You took care of those markups for them.
Here you can have that signed copy.
Oh, there you go, the other one, you sound, you kinda half on.
Yeah. You smoothed it out a little bit.
And as for the ordinance and job descriptions that you all looked at, it was given to you as an idea, so to give you an idea, they're not ready for full submission yet. I've made the actual revisions on those documents as well, but they still need to be worked before we are ready to, you know, have a town meeting for an ordinance to be adopted.
Good.
Yeah, obviously, we still gotta get West Baldwin straightened out, so.
So you signed it, is
Yep,
that your original, or is this a copy?
that's an original right there with the original signature on it.
You gonna deliver?
Yeah, sure, I'll deliver it, I don't care, hey, you guys said you wanted to deliver it, so. I have no problem doing it.
But it's from you, and,
Yep.
just make a copy for our file.
Sure.
Yes,
I can do that.
thank you.
Alrighty, reminders, I don't know if any reminders. You guys don't have a planning board meeting this week.
True.
Ricky, anything else?
I think I'm good.
You did most of the talking.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm good.
Joe?
Yeah, besides my sheep got out, but they didn't bite anybody.
Make sure they get back.
Bob, I gave you a wrong answer last week. You asked me who owned the, boat launch ramp at Sand Pond, and the town owns it, according to the Bureau of Parks and Lands.
Really?
What we can do about it, I think, is subject to the Bureau of Parks and Lands, and maybe laws about it. It's the access to a great pond.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you guys wanted to charge for it or whatever, I'm not sure if you can. I see other boat launch ramps or other access where they do charge for access, public access. But anyway, it's the town's,
So where did you find that?
Bureau of Parks and Lands,
Oh,
Maine.gov.
I went online to see if there was a deed,
Yeah,
the registry of deeds. Now, the Pierce family gave the property to, or?
we gave them money to buy the property from Wayne Jackson's heirs,
Oh, okay.
right after Wayne Jackson died. That was all Wayne Jackson's land, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll look and see.
But if you wanna do something, I think you're gonna have to tangle with Parks and Lands.
Yeah, I know that there's the
Yeah,
issue.
they'll have to pay $10 a stick, don't they?
Yeah.
If you wanna use, in Sebago, if you wanna use the beach of their boat launch in Sebago as a resident, you have to have a sticker.
Yeah.
We don't charge for our sticker, but our sticker has, you have to have a sticker and a resident can use a boat launch or you pay a gem. Or you pay it.
Denise chased me off many times.
Like I said.
So they have to be a resident to launch a
Yes.
boat down there?
Yep.
Because it's town beach.
Because it's town beach, town boat launch.
Yeah.
And that, so you have to be a resident of Sebago to use that boat launch or the beach.
Well, you've got other, access to Sebago Lake other than.
Right.
Right,
You go down the marina
and pay the
Pay
boat launch.
a fee, yeah.
Or East
Or you
Sebago,
yeah, right,
you know.
yeah, you said I go to
That's
the
marina,
marina, yeah,
and go pay.
oh, Sebago Lake,
You have to go all the way down to either Standish,
yeah.
which I don't know, does Standish do anything down there?
I don't know what they do now.
I know they charge for their sandbar on Harmon Beach.
They never
Right.
used to
What I
charge
don't
for
know
launching at the
is, how big
station
of an
down
issue
there.
is it?
Right.
They,
They
Yeah, they have
Sebago
stay,
Station.
you know,
They
but,
do now?
Yeah, they have beach, they have, boat launch attendants, and they charge you now.
They do, I know.
At the water district there?
It's just good to know the
That's
one.
the one right there on the corner of 35. yeah.
now that
Station.
pond is, you know, I've lived there all my life and I've kind of wondered, I've always thought of it as more just like a bog hole. There's no real water coming in, there's no real water going out. So,
Yeah, it's shallow too.
I guess, you know, if it holds water and it's, you know, I guess, like you said, how big of a problem is it, you know?
Well, it's, I think it was 52 or 53 acres, so it's a pretty good boggle, but the water constantly running out, that little stream.
But if it's over 10 acres, then it's a great pond
Mhm.
by state law.
Because there's so much dry water there, that's what I kind of thought mostly fed that place. I'm not geologist.
I don't think anybody's draining it by sucking out a
Right.
tank full of it. But the question is, are they there every day, you know, blocking access or everything, or is it, you know, once a week or something like that?
That's, yeah, that's what would be the problem, is walking
Yeah,
access to it.
He's down there all day.
Chad, how often are they there?
He's home today.
Well, they were there this morning.
Yeah,
Yep.
Just once. So they come to our brook, they're down there 4 or 5 times a day.
oh, really?
Yeah,
A lot of water needed up
Yeah,
there.
they'll stop after a while when the water gets low.
They're gonna stop this week. We're gonna be full boards.
Oh, yeah.
Your father's request.
I still say, they'll still get a.
You won't
Somebody
get
told them
much.
the other day.
Huh?
Somebody told them the other day.
Did they?
Yeah, Stevie did.
Oh, okay.
Well, they wouldn't pull all of them, but,
You got it.
down enough to see the leaves and stuff on the other side. Yeah.
That's what your dad wanted.
Yeah, pull them
Your
all.
dad asked, pull them all out, pull them all to flush out the
Watch out get Stevie in there with a rake and rake them towards.
Stevie in the water?
Yeah, they don't.
Kids afraid of water.
Yeah, they don't agree with each other.
So Chad, they're not, are they here this year more than they have been in the past, or is it just about the same?
Yeah, we've been too many.
Yeah.
Good week, Chad.
I'm thinking, I'll look and see what that, yeah.
So I wanted to mention that, I got an ad for how I can make extra money by putting up an ADU, which are now legal in all towns in Maine. You'd be happy to know, Bob.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't very much of an ad, but just telling you I can put up ADUs, probably one of those companies that makes tiny houses, you know?
Yeah,
But,
no kidding.
actually, you're the one who ought to know that it's, just because it's an ad, it's not true.
I have had a few calls myself.
Yeah, I bet.
They don't like it when you say we gotta wait a year.
We don't have to, but we can.
Right.
Well, that's it now.
Yeah.
We haven't got provisions for it. We don't have to adopt one for a year.
Yeah.
That's what it's been told me. If that's incorrect, just tell me and I'll tell them something different.
No, it's all about right.
And Jim, we had a conversation about right to know and freedom of access.
Yes, yeah.
And, all boards in town must take a training in the freedom of access, your right to know, and
Yeah.
that's what it's under. And you can just read all the FAQs and then sign a statement, and then we have to hand it in to Debbie, saying we took the training, even if it's just a self-training.
Oh, really?
Instead of the 2-hour webinar, you mean?
Or we can do it for 2 hours, yes.
I think I like the FAQ.
Yeah, yep, that's right, you read the FAQs too?
No, I think it's great. We had a staff meeting about it. So it was brought to us by Sarah that we were required as town employees to
Yep.
use that class. So I think that wasn't brought up at the meeting, that was a way to go about it. It was either in person for like 4 hours or a 2-hour webinar.
2 hours, no more than 2 hours,
Huh, okay.
the FAQs.
Yeah, that would be great. That's
Yeah.
the right way to do
I
it.
saw that on MMA.
So I just did it, and before you draw up a fancy statement, Deb has one that she wants you to sign instead of the one that you draw up, so.
Well, I got the state's one, I gotta do the town's one now.
I think there's a state one is what she has, but.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You gotta do it within 120 or 150 days of being sworn into office. It's one of those things, there's a penalty of $500 if you break the law, but the sort of thing that it's not a problem until it's really a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then you like wish you'd never been born.
And that's every time you get sworn in, so.
Yeah.
If I get reelected.
Every year.
Every year, yeah.
Every year you gotta do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good too, because everything's changing all the time.
Well,
Laws are updating.
I've only done it a couple of times, and it should have been doing it, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm glad I checked.
yeah. Yes. Anything else?
That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
I've gotta call the Glenville solar people back to see if I said I'd check and see if it might be possible to give them a different fee for that installation.
Yeah, I'd look into that.
So I'll tell them we're looking into it.
Yeah.
And we'll let them know, because I don't think they're gonna get the permits right away anyway, because they've got a lot of things they're working on.
Okay.
So if that's all right with you, that's what I'll do.
Sorry with me.
And I did turn in the information that Bob had asked for with the job description.
Yeah.
And I left room in there to make notes and whatever. I tried to make it comply with state and local things as best I could.
Yep.
That's where we are with that.
Is it?
Sounds like I need protective gloves, a bulletproof vest, some kind of support for my legs. Maybe armor for my car, I don't know, I gotta talk with Rick about that.
Maybe if you wanted to, give Cumberland County a call and have an escort with you, and
Well, I'm supposed to.
yeah, I mean, if there's a dangerous dog there, you might want to do that.
Well, the rules say that I'm supposed to abide by the protective gear that is offered to me. I don't think there is any.
I got an old hockey mask.
One thing that, and we actually just did it over in Parsonsfield, cause our code enforcement officer, was never identifiable when he showed up at people's house.
So I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, no one knew who it was, he had a gun pulled on him. Same thing happened to me when I was over in Parsonsfield in my pickup, cause over there I don't have a cruiser.
Yeah.
We had guns pulled on us, so our town over there bought us magnets for the side of our vehicles, so that we know who is pulling in. And then the other thing is that they bought us shirts, so
Yeah.
like on Fridays, or if Dawn's going out to do an inspection, a polo or
A vest or something, yeah.
something he could throw on that identifies him as the code enforcement officer. Because the other thing is, and Don so much might not get into that situation, but for me, I work a lot with the law enforcement guys, and if I show up in just jeans and a t-shirt, they're like, you down on the ground now, and he's gonna handcuff me because they think I'm part of the problem. So yeah, I mean, that would be a suggestion
Yeah,
I
I
have.
think you should have a Baldwin patch as well.
Well, yeah, right. There probably ought to be Baldwin, and then we contract with Standish, and you guys should fly me to Standish, because I'm here so much.
Yeah.
But,
Do you know what the magnetic signs cost roughly for a pair?
the set that they bought me, was $86 for the set. There's a woman over, in Parsonsfield who made, the signs for the code enforcement officer. They ordered mine offline, because it was a special design, but Ink Cat Crafts over in Parsonsfield can make the magnetic signs for code enforcement. She'll put your seal on there, your town seal, and,
Code enforcement.
and code enforcement, it says code enforcement,
Yeah.
stuff
Could
like
you
that.
give that info to?
I'll give the info to Robin.
So this is for the magnets,
The magnets. She also makes the t-shirts too, so
so Kit Kat Craft?
Ink Cat Craft. I'll give you the info. I think I actually have one of her cards, so I'll bring it over. But yeah, unfortunately, the world that we live in right now is everybody has guns and wants to
Yeah,
pull
it's
the
definitely
guns.
identifiable.
Yeah.
We need
I'd
to get
appreciate it a lot if you were willing to do that.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about,
Oh, yeah.
Stick my sheep on you.
your badge with a picture ID on a unit or something.
Yeah.
Just-
Exactly, I want to take that with you.
And
The more you have, the better, because a lot of people are very leery if you're going around.
Yeah, they may think you're lying too, we just want access to their house, yeah.
yeah, exactly, and that happens a lot too. People, like, assessing goes around, and people, you'll see it on Facebook, hey, there's a gold colored car driving around, and then someone will say, yeah, that's assessing.
Look at pictures and yeah.
Yeah,
They're looking at our windows.
yeah, right.
That sort of thing.
Just for Don's safety,
Yeah.
I think the town should get him something. I shouldn't say we, because I don't pay taxes here, but I think the town should get him something.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
immensely.
Good idea.
Unfortunately, he's right, we're living in crazy times.
Yeah.
You might get me a nice plot next door if you could sell it. You know, it's probably not the best solution.
Reserve mine beside it.
We'll comp the deed price for you.
Right. Take it out of tag.
Well, exactly.
Anything else?
I think I'm good, ready to move.
Okay. Kathy?
Reading program and story hour is going well. We keep getting new kids coming in all the time. We're up to 13 kids and 7 adults in the reading program, and new kids come every week. You know, some of the old ones come back now and then, they sprinkle in, but it's just word of mouth, and, you know, they visit other libraries, but they really like this one.
Really?
It's comfortable, and they love the stories with the puppets.
Good.
They do.
Yeah, but they do.
Good. Wow, okay. Anything else? Mary?
No, I don't have anything, thank you though, my God, you guys do a lot of work this week, it's like, wow. Overwhelming, overwhelming. Oh, I know.
Steve?
Wow.
I do have just a question for you guys, and a little bit of an update. So the WMTW radio tower project that we had been working on, is ready to go next week. We got our engineering letter, and everything is in place, so they're gonna start next week. The one thing that I do need is because I was not the fire chief when this took place, but there was a signed agreement. I have the agreement itself, but I don't have the signed copies. One of the contractors that's on the job does need a copy of it that doesn't have it. So I don't know if it's in your files, I don't know if it's a question for Robin, but I remember that you guys had signed some agreement between I don't know if it's WMTW, but it's a tower, yeah, it is WMTW. It'll be the tower owners and the town of Baldwin. So I just need a copy of that to get them to go to work. So I don't know where that.
Where that is?
I'll look.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a file in there.
I figured, but I also I have nobody to talk to
Well,
about
if
when it
it-
took place, so
Right,
you're the guys
so
who
if
signed
it's
it.
something that you all signed off on,
Yeah.
then generally we would keep
Yeah,
a copy of
what
it.
happened was,
Yes,
it was like the board, Dwight signed it.
okay,
Yeah, it could have been.
so then I should have a copy of it then.
Yeah, you're right.
And Bruce was chief at the time, so it wasn't something that I was able to
Mhm.
communicate between them, so that's good news. That, very fancy tool that we bought to put over on the west side of town, we did a training with the other day, and we actually had Sebago join us. So we're kind of starting to train with our mutual aid departments, which is really nice, because honestly, when we have, incidents, we typically are not the only town on there. So training with other towns really just helps serve our citizens better, so, that's been going really well. Our training program has been doing great, which then affects the ISO project that Bruce had started. We're due to produce some sort of results on August 10th, and we are looking like we are maybe 15 points above already where we were previously. So we're doing excellent, yeah.
Wow.
It's going well.
And you had a pretty good turnout that training, 15?
Yeah, something like that. I think with Sebago it was 15, right? Or 13.
Yeah, I don't remember
exactly, but I only take attendance for Baldwin, so.
I was talking to Steve the other day.
Yeah, it went really
It
well.
was a really good training.
It was a really great training.
That's good, I think.
So, 2 new firefighters, one that is on our department and one that is on Sebago's department. They got their feet wet for the first time doing car extrications, and, that's pretty much our bread and butter over here. We don't see a ton of structure fire unless I'm hanging out with Ricky, and, we tend to see a lot of car accidents, so.
Yeah,
Could be
right.
practicing that stuff instead, make sure
Yeah.
everybody stays safe, so.
That worked real good for you, the,
Oh, yeah.
the new tool?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Unbelievable,
Super impressed.
very
Yeah.
impressive.
Way more.
Captain Kyle Estes actually cut a water bottle in half so precisely that he left it on the desk without a drop of water on it.
Really?
Yeah, I turned into a half of a bottle of water, and I said, "What is up with this?" And Kyle was laughing, he's like, "That new tool you bought's pretty good." So it was great.
Good, good investment.
Absolutely, yeah, all just to keep us safe and get us out of a bad situation as quick as possible.
Yeah,
So, that's all I got.
great. Chris, you got something?
Hey, guess what? It rained.
Yeah, it was,
A lot.
was it last night?
2 nights ago, yeah.
2 nights ago,
We
yeah.
had that real bad thunderstorm,
Grafton Road fell apart.
Grafton Road fell apart.
He did a wonderful job cleaning it up.
Half the lane, or the whole lane, but half the road for like 600 feet.
Yep.
Just just sunk right down under mine completely.
You've just been chasing storms around all.
I feel bad for you.
Another one coming too, Chris.
All I know is more rain. Bowie Road washed out again, big surprise. And then couple spots here and there washed out. We've been trying to get everything picked back up. We're almost caught up back to where we were.
My road too, washed
Yeah, we haven't even talked about his road. So a bunch of the roads washed out. We're getting them put back together again. Still trying to catch up from April's storm, but we're gaining. And then we'll have to do a bunch more work, but it is what it is. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and then we had that email, which I replied to you guys about, from Senator Black. I've had multiple phone calls, just letting me know about roads, but that's no big deal. I have two things for you. One is my request for my compactor. You wanted a written request. Here it is. And then the other one that I have is just we had talked about the storm damage from April's storm that we didn't get any funding for. And so the total that we've spent with the payroll and gravel billed up to date. So what that means is the vendor that we use is bill at the end of the month. So we won't see the June bill until July. So we paid the May bill, but we haven't got anything from June yet. So there's an additional gravel bill coming, unless for whatever reason it showed up in there that I don't know about.
It's a pretty big gravel bill, wasn't it?
There was one in May.
Dayton sand and gravel.
Oh, that's paving.
Oh, that's paving.
Yeah. Debbie took the same thing. She's like, I just got one for gravel. I'm like, no, you did not. That is paving. Do not take that out of gravel. They did come and pave, Farm Road and Harris Road.
Yeah.
Farm Road came out pretty good. They
That's
put
good.
a lot of hot top on it.
Marjorie's very happy with it.
I'm sure she is.
Except you didn't look high enough, though, yeah.
Well,
Town road actually goes up beyond her.
Yeah, she tried to tell me that, and I was like, well, you know what? This is where the hot top ends. This is where we're paving to. I'm not going any further.
Okay.
Cause it's where the hot top was, and we went from where the hot top was and went over the old hot top.
Okay.
She started to argue with the paving crew, and they're like, it's not us, like. It's not us.
I know, yes.
And when I walked up, she walked inside, so, I don't know what to tell her. I have to go up and shoulder those roads, both Farm and Harris Road. Harris Road, there was some miscommunication with them between their supervisor and the crew that was on site for their last pull, which is the road from Bishop Delicio down to 113. There's a little bit of a Willy Wonka hiccup there. So what he told me when he was out here, whether he sticks to his word or not, who knows, is because of the miscommunication, it came out like crap. So he says when he comes out sometime in the next couple weeks to pave at the mill, he will go down, they will grind a strip and overlay with a surface coat to fix their shoddy work. I mean, it's not horrible,
Yeah.
but it's not the best.
Well, he's gonna make good.
But he says he's gonna make good on it,
Yeah.
whether it happens or not, but that's what he says. I hope he does, because it'll look great even after that. So, the total that we've spent without the gravel budget for June for the storm in April is $41,030.50. I couldn't even tell you what the June bill's gonna be. I talked to Kyle, and he's gonna try to hopefully get me the bill for before the end of the budget cycle,
Yeah.
just so we can get it gone and out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's as of currently, and it broke it down as, $13,326 from the gravel account and $27,704.50 out of the town road account. between culverts, man hours, and compactor rental.
Now, when you say man hours, do you back out like the, regular work week? How does that back
It
out?
didn't, only because it was pretty much directly related to the storm damage, that's the only reason I didn't. But there was some overtime there, plus an extra person or two included in the payroll, so, I included it all because it was directly related to the storm, because otherwise than that, we would have been doing something else. That's the only reason why I easily could, just have to go back and pull all the pay slips and figure out which was which, but.
I just didn't know how it worked.
Yeah, that's how I just did it, it was just because it's directly related to the storm. So that's the number that I have currently. So, that's where we're at, I think that covers everything for me. Oh, I did talk to the vendor about the hot box, and they're trying to get the regional rep from the actual company to come out, because he's had several requests from several different towns that wanna demo it and try it and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get him to come out for a week or so to do a bunch of demos for a bunch of different towns.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
if nothing else, we'll demo it and get some holes filled, hopefully.
Can you show me how to use it over here?
Yeah. I've got this hole, I really wanna see how well it works for that.
Well, over there on Fram Road by the church, you know, that guy was.
One up by your place, one at Graham Road,
Yeah.
they're all over the place, Decker
Kinda
Road.
got close with the plow.
That's from the wing dropping off the edge and then coming back in when the shoulder is too soft.
Yeah.
Just because we never got any frost.
Yeah, it was.
The shoulder's never hardened up,
Yeah.
so what happens is that if the wing drops off the edge of that hot top, because you got over for a car or something like that.
Yeah.
And you come back and that wing drops down, it'll just
Peel, yeah,
peel it right over.
yeah. So, because it's so warm.
Yeah, because it was such a weird, messed up winter
Yeah, yeah,
and year,
yeah.
and I really hope this is not the new normal, 2-inch rainstorms in 2 hours.
Could be.
I really hope
I
not.
know.
I'm trying to, the other thing is that there's mitigation money available for the town. We have to apply through the state.
Takes a long time.
Takes a while before you get any money, but it's a process that I've gotta look at and talk to them about. There was about 295,000, I think, allocated for the state for mitigation.
I think we have to kick in 10%.
We have, 25.
But certain towns qualify for 10.
Yes.
Yeah, because we all looked at it.
There's a little bit of money that you have to kick in, but
Yeah.
to get it, so it's one of those deals.
Carefully.
I just got it, the email, and I haven't talked to her and whatnot about it, so I'll try to address that as well. That was it, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask, it's a planning board question.
Okay.
Where, how much of Bishop Delicio or any of Bishop Delicio how much is town road? 0?
0.
Great, thank you.
We own just the hot top, so
That's
Harris,
ours.
the Harris Road comes up, and
Yep.
it goes up to that T where Bishop Delicio is, and then goes back down. As far as that goes, Bishop Delicio is not anything to do with the town property,
Great,
or town road.
thank you, thank you. A private road cannot have can only have, what is it? Is it 8 houses on it? 8 dwelling units, I'm sorry, not houses, dwelling units. And, we're being asked for a subdivision on Bishop Deliso. Why do we all say Delicio? It's Deliso. So, that affects, that it's a private road,
Yeah.
affects our answer to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've run out of permits for building arcs and boats and things like that. Been a real run out in the last few.
I can probably. Dan, you got anything?
Yeah, I had a small problem down the pond with a person when they were having swimming lessons. And I had to go over and speak to her, because her daughter was out in a kayak on the beach side. And, she didn't like it too well when I told her, I said kind of words and everything. Have your daughter go over, boat launch, row your boat out there. She didn't like that too well, because she got all upset about it. And she told me to get out of her face and everything. And she didn't like that too well. She started muttering and everything, so I just let it go. But she didn't like it too well when I told her that.
Is she resident, does she have a sticker on a car, or is she resident?
She had a sticker.
Could ask her to leave because she didn't have a sticker.
Well, if she's just kayaking, then we usually, the rule of thumb is that if they're on the boat launch side, not the beach, using the beach, then they don't need a sticker. That's kind of the rule of thumb that we use.
She wants to go kayak with this beach.
Yeah, at the beach,
Instead of-
not at the boat launch.
Not the boat launch.
Right.
Time for stickers with the boat launch.
And we had some people that would
We own it, right?
pull up their boats to the beach to try to bypass the sticker situation. And so they were swimming from like their boats on the beach, but,
Oh. So once they get on the beach.
so they weren't in vehicles, so therefore they didn't need stickers.
Once they step foot on the beach and then they, because you can go in the water all the way up through there and people can't kick you off in front of their camp or something, because you don't own the water. There's only one person I know of that has water rights. Arthur Shute.
Had.
Huh? Had, you didn't have any more?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you, they would build that dam over there. He had the water rights to Northwest River.
That and the place got sold
Oh,
after Emma died.
oh, yeah,
They sold it.
so that was, yeah.
She was also the only one that was still getting paid for her water that she created at the dam from CMP.
Oh,
Because they went to credits, CMP would credit you the money,
yeah,
you know, towards your account. She
Yeah.
was about the only one that had it in writing that they were gonna give her X amount per dollar, no matter what.
no,
Because Arthur was a smart man,
yeah, he was.
and she was like, nope, you're giving me money. And who's gonna argue with Emma? Man.
Anything else to add? They don't have a sticker, then they don't,
And I had one, she didn't like it too well, they wanted just to use the beach, she didn't have a sticker, nothing. They just wanted to use the beach, just to lay on the beach and everything, said, no, can't, gotta have a sticker. Out the door you go.
yeah.
I've had two people already about that.
They could get the message after a while.
Well, I don't know.
Dale, you got any?
I really don't, no, nothing.
Bob?
Yeah, I move that we,
I got one more thing. Okay. What's it gonna take to post Fremont Avenue for trucks?
Last I knew is that Bob wanted to make sure that we could do it. I think that was the last thing that I heard on it.
and there was
And then we got involved in
there
TIF and
was
everything
an
else.
ordinance, draft ordinance that you,
Yep, but, yeah, so you can do that, but you don't have to have the ordinance post the road.
I think I have to, I'll check again.
But we can do whatever, and the traffic ordinances you guys can adopt, so.
Yeah, that road is really getting chewed up. You know?
So what you're saying, if it's a traffic ordinance, you don't have to do the public hearing,
Right.
and
Selectmen can adopt a traffic ordinance. Learned that through my MMA split claims class for my leadership.
We need an ordinance to do it, but it's one that we vote on.
Yeah.
Um, dig it out, I think I've got your draft that you were.
Probably, I think I sent it to you.
Other people's asking about that too, and I think, the other day, my father said, this road is really chewed up with these trucks, and I said, yeah, we couldn't do it.
We can do like what Standish did with Boundary Road, no 3-axle and nothing over 16 tons.
Could we do the same thing for the?
You can do it on any road you want.
On River Road? I think
Any
we ought
road
to
you
put a
want.
weight limit on that bridge over there.
Yeah, which is, I have the signs for, I just don't have the posts for, which I ordered months ago.
Yeah, so you can do it. Okay.
Yeah. But we can do, the weight limit's an easy thing to do,
Okay.
and then, yeah. You own the road, the select board can do it if they choose with whatever road they want.
Yeah. That's all I got. Robin, you got anything? I don't know about you either.
No.
All right, I'm done.
Got one.
Okay.
He has submitted his request for the, plate compactor,
How much is talking about the?
and,
Okay.
so I move that we approve his request.
Oh, okay.
To come from the,
Thought you were talking about something else.
Town Equipment Reserve Fund.
And the price tag on that, or first being $2,400-$2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, I think it was under 25.
A second.
Okay.
You got it.
One more higher to get that 44,000.
That's fine.
Is there a way that we could, you could co-buy it with another town and share it,
We've talked about that, or I've thought about that, and
so that it doesn't hurt quite so much?
it could be a possibility. Just have to find which town wants to
There's
do
all
it.
kinds of issues involved with that, though, as far as.
Yeah, which is why I
who needs
think,
it when, and, you know.
which if I think if you're gonna do it, I think you're better off
Who
to
breaks
try to
it?
rent it to another town versus trying to.
Branded out versus co-own and shit, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is a cleaner way to do it, but.
We tried that once with a Cascade
I was
system.
just trying
They
to
got home.
help.
Co-ownership's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
I move the select board go into an executive session pursuant to NRSA section 405(6)(f) to discuss confidential records.
Sounds like it.